everybody. It's another Conversations with, and I'm delighted today to have my good friend Richard Morco with us. Well, Richard, I understand there's been a little change in what's going on in your life.
Well, yes. The Sturbridge Times Town and Country Living magazine was a print magazine forever. I love print. I'm a print guy. COVID-19 has changed everything.
Oh.
We used to deliver the magazine to all kinds of shops and outlets around
Restaurants?
the area.
I used to get mine at the restaurant,
Yeah. However, COVID-19, that stopped that flat. Everybody was still getting it by subscription to their homes, but there's no way we could carry that on. So the magazine is now online only, but the good news is you can get it. So if you send an email to John Small at sturbridgetimes.com and you tell him you'd like to be subscribed, you'll get it every month without fail. So we hope you'll subscribe.
That'd be great.
Yeah, there's only one drawback. I'm in the magazine. Other than that...
That's why I get it. That's the only reason I get that. Is to see what Morco's going to say.
Dick needs a laugh now and again every month.
No, it's true. I love your stuff.
We have some other great people.
Yes, you do. There's some great articles. I enjoy the whole little paper.
A lot of
I get it.
stuff.
It was great, and so I'm glad that we can get it. That's good news.
Yeah.
So you had to get a hold of John Small.
John Small at sturbridgetimes.com.
Great.
Say, I want to sign up, and you will get the magazine without fail every month.
Great. And you can just look it on your computer and read it.
There you go. Yeah, you can expand the print.
Oh, good.
And that way, like my glasses, my eyes are not the
Well,
greatest.
you know, Drew and I were talking earlier today. Computers have just changed the world.
Oh yeah.
It's unbelievable and what you can do with them. And my wife works for a big company and has been working at home. Now they just changed. She's the only one back in. She went back in for 3 days and she's home 2 days now. But it was every day she was home. And so anyway, I gave her one of my computer, so I went and bought another one. And I've been. It's unbelievable if you want to do research, there's nothing you can't find on that computer.
Exactly. And if you ever had to do research before, the computer.
Oh, yeah.
You had to go to the library, and they had these green books called The Reader's Guide to Periodical Literature. And you had to, and then you had to go to the stacks, or you had to go to the index, the card index.
Just to find the books,
And, or the magazine or whatever, and just search and search and search.
Yeah.
That's could be a drawback. Maybe people are writing too much now. Who knows? But for guys like Dick and I, Spanish-American War veterans, we remember life before the computer. And it is, as he said, different.
Well,
absolutely.
Well, you know, I was telling someone the other day, I still have a flip phone. Now, Jen's got one of these fancy apples, and she'll say, oh, look. And she'll go to hand it to me, and if you touch it, it moves. It changes. I said, what? So I got my little flip phone. I can talk to people, and I can text. And that's good for me. I'm happy. And but I remember for years and years, I was in business. I ran companies, radio stations. And I was one of the top salesmen. And I'd be out selling. I never had a problem. I'd go out in the morning, and by 11 o'clock, I'd get in the phone booth, throw a dime in, call the station, ask my secretary, anything for me? Oh, yeah, this guy wants it. I'd write it down. And if I was in his area, I'd go see him. And then about 3 o'clock, I'd check again. And then by 4 o'clock, I'd come back. And then she'd have all my notes for who called me. I'd sit at my desk, call them all back. Nobody had any trouble getting a hold of me or I them. Now you can't go anywhere. You go to the grocery store, and they're walking up and down the aisle.
It just, I
leave mine in the car.
That's a smart thing to do. But you see people like zombies. And I can't say I've never done that, but
I had a thing the other day. I laughed for 10 minutes afterwards at myself. All right, I'm walking along. I'm at one of the stores, and I'm going to go buy a card for a friend that I have to send a little card to. So I knew right where I was heading. Well, there's this kid coming along, and he's on the phone, but he's got it in front of him. I don't know, but he was reading something, what he was doing, had no idea where he was walking. And if I hadn't looked up, I'd have smashed right into him. So as I went by him, I said, "You're going to get killed one of these days doing that, Sonny." And of course, I can't keep my mouth shut.
No, Dick. Dick, I'll kill the man who says it.
And I walked by the kid, and I heard him turn around. I don't know what he said. I didn't care.
I can guess.
But anyway, I mean, to your point, people walk. They don't even know where they're going.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen people walking on the sidewalk with them, walk right into a parking meter.
It's funny. It's funny to watch, but
Oh, yeah.
what is happening? I heard once somebody say that we become the slaves of our tools. And
Well, I'm always reminded of a quote from 1939. A fellow named Einstein made a comment. This is 1939. He said, "The more technology we develop, the more idiots we're going to create." Well, it's probably more true today than it was back then.
I certainly agree.
Because it's unbelievable with all the gadgets and things that we do and we can get our hands on. I mean, automobiles. I had a 1940, my first car was a 1941 Ford that I bought for $35 from a kid. And my mother fixed up seats, she made some bunting seats she fixed all the inside up. And I loved that car. And you know what I had in my dashboard? An AM radio. That was it.
Yeah.
Now you get in the car, and it's got a screen, and it's got GPSs, and it's got all kinds of buttons that you got to hit to do certain things with. No wonder they have, and now 40% of the accidents, new numbers. In the old days, 70% of the accidents were speed. The other 30% were mistakes. Now, 40% of the accidents are distracted drivers.
I have to say I can't argue that.
I saw a guy the other day. There's a 4-way stop sign when I go home from here, where I live, and you got to be really careful in there because a lot of people don't honor a stop sign. They think it means slow down and go.
Yeah.
They don't mean it doesn't mean stop. It's slow down and go. But in any event, I saw a guy the other day on his telephone, and if I hadn't made a complete stop and was watching, it could have been all over but the cheering. Because a lot of times you stop, you look, and you go. Well, this guy was down the road. So I pull up and I stop and I see him. And I said to myself, and I look over and he's on his phone, which he's not supposed to be, by the way.
Right.
Right through. He didn't even see the stop sign. Right through it. And I went, whew, thank God I was looking at him. Because I could tell he was going too fast to stop. And the car wasn't slowing. He just went right through that stop sign. And he's on his phone. And I don't think he to this day knows he did it.
Probably not.
And it's just scary.
It is extremely.
I mean, but it's the society we live in, and how the world has really changed.
Well, a guy like that, if he had killed himself, you've heard of the term the Darwin Award? Do you know what that is?
No.
It's when people are so stupid that they take themselves out of the gene pool. Now, this guy will never have any kids now, which means his dopey, I'll kill myself genes are gone. So you can take some comfort in that.
Oh, anyway. Well, we're getting down to close to election. And I have to tell you something. I had my note here, but it's gone. But I did some research because we have a program I do with my good friend Mike Carnival, who is an investment guy, and we do the program. And so I did some research of the presidents from Harry Truman to today. Who has done the best job as a president for the economy? Because, as we know, the president today is the best of them in the world. He has done the greatest job of anybody. Well, there was 12 presidents from Truman to him. He's number 8.
Okay.
All right, in return on investment. And they rated the presidents on their actual, when they were in office, how the economy performed, and based it on return on investment.
And is it stocks?
Well, yeah, stock.
Okay. Your portfolio.
Return on how you return on if you invested money, how did they do? Number 1, Bill Clinton. You had a 270% return when he was president. Number 2 is the guy who gets all the blame, Barack Obama.
Okay.
His return was 181.
Yes.
And then it goes down from there. Number 3, 4, and it goes right. And then the ones, Trump is number 8. The return on investment is 4.3 by him. Then it under Trump is, and then all the presidents who had a problem. Kennedy, Carter. Kennedy had the Cuban thing, and then Carter had the Iran hostages, and Bush had the Iraq War. They all come under their 9, 10, 11, and 12. And Jimmy Carter, he had the hostages.
Yeah.
And so those guys were below him. And then there was W.H. Bush, the father. He was there. And then there was, and Nixon was below him, because Nixon had Watergate.
Yeah.
So those guys were below Trump, but everybody else was above him.
Now,
That's all I'm just telling you.
yes, but that is saying the president was good for you fat cats with the big portfolios, not like the guy like me who's just a dirt farmer up on Long
Yeah,
Hill.
but now, I have to be honest. I never made so much money when Bill Clinton was. I didn't like Bill Clinton, but I never did so well financially with my businesses when he was president.
His buddy James Carville used to say, "I love it when the stock market goes down because I know the economy is doing well." And many, Andrew Tobias, who wrote the famous book, The Only Investment Guide You Ever Need, said the economy is usually doing well when the stock market isn't. So you fat cats, as opposed to peasants like me.
Now, there's one other one. Of the two parties, Democrat presidents and Republican presidents, who do you think had the best return on investment?
Probably the Democrats.
Democrats, 10.6. Republicans, 5.6.
But what's the point? Who does that benefit?
What I'm saying to
does
you,
that benefit?
what I'm telling you,
I hear
is
you.
I can't wait for Biden to win, because that means next year the market's going to skyrocket, and I'm going to make a few bucks.
And more American factories will go to China.
No. I'll tell you that. You speak about China. Here's the thing that what I'm going after. I heard, when all of this COVID-19 was going on, over 80% of our drugs are made in China. That was the scare. When I heard that, I said, what are we doing? Every pharmaceutical company ought to be croaked for doing that. Because here's my point. About 5 years ago, Richard, the Chinese people who made dog food put some wrong ingredient in and were killing all the dogs. Can you imagine? They could wipe out the United States of America.
But this is the thing, that the government serves Wall Street under any president before it serves the people.
You're right. I can't. Look, let me tell you the real problem. I've been watching this. No second stimulus isn't coming. People are out of work. They can't. We know all this going on. And I sat back and I said, I got it figured out. Every single member of the Senate, every single member of the House of Representatives, all their staffs, all their people are all getting paid. They make $184,000 a year, except the ones who have a chairmanship, and they make a few bucks more for that. Everyone. So of course they can go home for a vacation, and the heck with. If you think the Congress of the United States cares about the people, you're kidding yourself.
I have You know, what did they say? There was one thing I heard once. They go down saying they're going to be a reformer, that D.C. is a sewer.
Oh, yeah.
And they get there and they think it's a jacuzzi.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is the truth.
Well,
but
well,
you know, the
can I tell you something?
New Zealand legislature, when in this COVID emergency,
Yeah.
they cut their own pay.
Yeah.
Congress, feel free.
Yeah. Well, you see, let me tell you something. I had the joy and the great opportunity when Tip O'Neill was the speaker. I was invited to go down to Washington for a day because of the radio stations. That's how it was invited. So I went. Couldn't wait to go. And I came home, and I was in awe of the way they live. They meaning the congressman. We went to the congressional dining room. It was 10 of us and the speaker. We went to the congressional dining room and sat with the speaker at his table, the big table. You can't believe the waiters and the waitresses. You see what they wear, what they're dressed in. All right? In tuxedos and tails, serving these these congressmen.
You were right the first time.
Slip of the tongue is no fault of it.
No, you were right.
Anyway, but the point is, I sat there and they gave me a beautiful lunch, and I enjoyed it, of course.
And then Tip turned to Dick, and he said, Dick, tell me, what are the poor people doing? You should know.
And the bind is, and then we went on the tour, and then their offices. I mean, I went home and I said, maybe I shouldn't have gone, you know. And I remember telling people at the radio station when I got back, oh, how was it? Well, I said it was embarrassing, is what I said. There was times I was embarrassed. I said they have their own gym, they have their own swimming pool, they have their own hot tubs in the Congress. I said they have their own private dining room. I said the cheapskates can't even walk out and buy a hamburger. They have to sit down and get served. And I said, and what they do is they bring constituents in. That day, you think we were the only, Tip was the only guy that did it? There was 50 tables with people that were there by the various congressmen who had invited them in. And I remember when Reagan was president, we had a talk show host at the station in Ware, WARE, Jackie Murphy. And she got an invitation to go to the White House for an event. And she went, and we said, oh, great, go. It's great for the station. So she went and flew down the night before, stayed over, went to the White House, spent the whole day. And when she sat for lunch, she sat with Dave Gergen, who was in the administration. And she said, but it was amazing. We were all sitting there, and then a Marine comes in, and he stands up and he says, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States. And she said, then they play Hail to the Chief, and in comes Reagan. And you know, she said, oh, wow, there's the President. And he went around to every table and shook hands with everybody. It was like a media day that Reagan was great. He knew how to play the game.
Yeah.
He played the game very well. But when she came back, she sat and did the show on the air, talked about it, and the Springfield paper interviewed her and everything. And she told the truth. She said it was unbelievable. She said, and it was a great experience, but I came back and I said, wow, imagine what that cost. She said, now there was 25 of us from Massachusetts, from all across the state who were invited. And she said, I was one of them, and I was thrilled to go, don't get me wrong. And I got to shake hand with the president. I got to take a picture with him. You know, we all got our picture with the president. And she said, and he was great. He talked and he told stories. She said he was charming. But she said, the settings, gold, 24 karat gold rim plates, you know,
Yep.
and with the seal of the White House on them, the seal of the president on everything. And she said, you know, and everybody, they're watching you like a hawk, you know, you can't steal a fork or a knife.
Darn.
You know. But she said they had real cloth napkins you know, with the seal of the president on them. And she said, all I kept thinking of is that Dick Vaughan would be furious if he knew how much they were spending on what he would consider, you know, a waste of money.
Oh, certainly.
You know, and I remember when she came back and told me the story, I laughed, and I said, can you just imagine what it cost to have a state dinner for some clown from another country? All he wants is a loan or a grant, and they give him a state dinner worth about $800,000. They all come in tuxedos and gowns, and I said, and all the faldera. And I said, if I were president, in fact, when I ran for president, that was one of my campaign things. I'm not going to throw a state dinner for the guy. I'll take him to Friendly, buy him a hamburger, because all he wants is $250,000.
Yeah.
You know, so give him his money, buy him a hamburger, and send him on his way.
Yeah.
Save the money, you know. But it's what it is. You know, it's money that nobody ever knows about, nobody ever sees. I mean,
Well, is it real money?
all these stories about Pompeo and his wife throwing these big get-togethers and everything for these foreign ambassadors. Give me a break, you know.
Is it even real money?
Oh, I know. But my point is this, though, Dick. We got kids in this country who haven't eaten today. We got veterans who haven't got a place to sleep tonight, who served this country, gave their lives, put their lives on the line. Bullets whizzing by their ears.
Other than the ones we killed in the home.
In Holyoke, yeah. But the point I'm making is, look, we got money for everybody else, but we can't take care of our own, and that's always bothering me. And I get these now. I'm getting all kinds of, as I'm sure you are. I got a big thing from one congressman yesterday running for re-election, telling me how wonderful he is and all the wonderful things he's done. And all I said to myself is, yeah, did you lower the price of my drugs? No, you didn't. I'm still getting, I have to take a certain medication. They're $400 and some odd for a month's supply. Oh no, I pay $60 of that and my insurance pays the rest. But it's still, and I'm paying for the insurance.
Yeah.
It's through the roof. And I'm saying, wow, you know, what are we doing? But anyway, what do you think about Kamala Harris?
Well, Biden, she basically called Biden a sexual predator.
Oh, I don't care about that.
No, you don't. Wait a minute.
That's
You don't
politics.
It's politics. But it speaks to the character of the people.
Oh,
now,
I agree.
If you call somebody, basically, I hate to use these terms on TV, but she basically called him a rapist. And now, she's going to run with him. Now, that seems to me kind of, dishonest. You don't care about what she called him.
First, Dick, you're right. Politics is not honest.
Okay. But, everybody, you scream about Trump all the time. But, well, maybe we'll give Kamala a pass.
Well, I'm thrilled. Here's what I'm thrilled about. Because if they are successful, there's no question he's only going to serve one term if he survives that. Which means for the first time in the history of this country, we're going to have a woman as President of the United States. And for that, I'm excited.
So does it matter who, the character of the woman, or just that it's a woman?
Oh, I think that she is an excellent politician. I think she can do a great job. I think she's got...
The word I asked you about was character.
Well, you're asking me...
She slept her way to power.
Yeah, here's the problem. You're asking me a question about a politician.
Yes.
And there's a... if you want to list...
We spent most of this time talking about the dishonesty of our government, the problems of our government. That's just a politician.
But that's what they are. They're all dishonest.
Yeah, okay, so don't make her.
I'm not making her.
I'm glad we have a lady
No.
dishonest as she is.
But wait a minute. All I'm saying is, we've got a woman that's going to be running the country for a change because we've had 200. How many we had? 46 or 47, 45, whatever they are, white males, except one, who've buried us, as we've talked about all the wars that we've been in.
I agree.
All right?
But
so I'm refreshed, if nothing else. Do I know what politics is? Yeah, I was in it. I understand the game.
I don't see celebrating this. I see, okay, it's a turn for a woman. But I don't think one should celebrate somebody with no character.
Well, how many of them do have character?
You've been complaining about Trump for how long?
Wait. Let me tell you about Trumpy. All he does is exaggerate, not tell the truth. We've got a mess on our hands.
I don't celebrate that.
We've got a mess on our hands.
I don't celebrate that like you're celebrating Kamala. I think Trump is weird.
I'm only thrilled because it's a lady.
Even though it's a dishonest lady. A person who slept her way to power with Willie Brown.
No, we don't know that.
Willie Brown said it.
They were boyfriend and girlfriend. They dated
He
each
was
other.
a married man when she was...
No, he was separated from his wife.
Oh, okay.
He was
Was he?
separated from his wife.
Are
Yes,
you
he
sure?
was.
Okay.
Yes, he was.
So all good.
Well, I didn't say it was. Look, everybody makes decisions. Whether you agree with them or not is academic. They make decisions. Sometimes we make good ones. Sometimes we make bad ones. The fact of the matter is, she dated Willie Brown. She was 29. He was 60.
She didn't
Okay,
just date him.
they were 31 years apart.
She didn't just
Got
date
it.
him. She didn't just date him. I mean, come on, she was basically his mistress, as he was a married man, maybe separated. She also, they're saying, well, they're
He gave her 2 jobs, I know.
Yeah, all good. Come on, the woman is a politician with no character. It's great. It's okay that a woman becomes president. It's a good thing. But it isn't good when any person of no character becomes president, man or woman.
But you and I have had conversations about many, many, many of our presidents. How many of them really had great character?
I have said that all the time. I bring up Alexis de Tocqueville. He said that about politicians, American politicians, they only start to think about running the government's affairs after they've made a mess of their own. That's when they go into politics. So, I'm on board with that, and you're right. But we should be saying, wait a minute, this is why we need. And I'm going to go here now. The Long Hill plan for the Electoral College. So maybe we get somebody better because we're not having somebody saying, vote for me.
But here's the dilemma we have, Richard. We have 2 parties that say, we're going to give you this guy or this girl. We're going to give you this guy and this girl. Pick which one you want. Okay? What choice do we really have?
We have agreed on this. We are in complete agreement on that.
Okay? But what do you really have? You had Kennedy or Nixon. You had, Truman or Dewey. You had, whoever and whoever. And 2 parties, and every once in a while, which were 2 times, 3 times, we had Perot ran one time, Anderson ran. They got nowhere fast.
They were providing comedy.
And Harold Stassen ran and ran and ran and ran.
Where is Harold Stassen now? Come back, Harold Stassen. All is forgiven.
But the point I'm making is, what choice do you really have?
We don't.
You're going to go in. We're going to get a ballot, and we're going to go in, and it's going to say Biden and Harris and Trump and Pence. And you have 2 choices. You have 1 choice. Vote for one. What do you got? You got one guy who's been 48 years in the Congress and a girl that's been a senator for 6 years.
There you go.
All right? And you got another guy who was a governor of some state, and you got Trump who never did anything but build buildings. And so what
that's a business. You've done
That he bankrupt.
We could have said
That he bankrupt all of them.
Dick,
He had an airline.
What is he doing? All he ever did was run companies.
Run radio stations. That's all I ever did.
And
made money.
He made money.
You're right. And I dabbled in politics.
So you just hate Trump. It's okay.
No, I don't hate him.
Oh.
No, I don't. I do not agree with him. I do not hate the man. I don't hate
Name
people.
5 things you disagree with him
I
over.
don't hate
Name
people.
5 things you disagree
I don't
with.
like his attitude.
No. His policies. Name 5 policies you disagree with.
He's messed up the COVID-19, in my opinion.
Like the way our governor has by killing all the people in the nursing homes. You love the one guy, but you hate the other guy for the same thing.
I think our governor overall has done an excellent job.
Other than killing a lot of people.
We're going down and down and
Everybody's
down.
going down.
Right.
That doesn't necessarily.
Not everybody isn't going down.
No, Sweden, which has flattened the curve now, and they did not do this.
Well, all those things may be fine, but we have a situation in this country, in my opinion, the economy's gone to heck. They're not solving the problem in Washington. They're not doing a thing to help people, and people are dropping dead left and right. We're up to over 170,000
They
people.
are not right now.
171. Listen, 171. Here's my question, and we'll end it here. My question. This man stood up and said a simple thing. He said, this is going to go away. He said, and the worst you get is a sniffle. That's all you get, sniffles. And he said, it's very harmless. It's harmless, you get sniffles, and it's going away. Go ahead and call up one of the people of 171,000 families who lost a father or a mother or a sister or a brother or a son or a daughter, and ask him if it was harmless.
No.
And ask him if it's going away.
Can I
and
answer?
ask him if all they got was sniffles.
Can I answer? He didn't. He said that, and he said a lot of other things, and he's changed his mind about the things. He has. I don't think he's run it greatly, but I don't make a god out of Governor Baker either. And the number of deaths are going down precipitously. Because I keep records of this every day.
171,000 people.
That they're
Goes
going
up every day.
The current one, no, they are not. They are going down. And I'll bring my spreadsheet in next time. They are going down. Now that doesn't mean we'll have another wave. I don't know. I just keep this spreadsheet of what's happening.
Wear a mask.
How do you know?
Social
Okay,
distance.
now let me ask you a question. What is your source for the
medical profession.
What? Which one? Name one. Because there's two. The other people say no, it isn't. I wear a mask. I'm going to wear a mask.
I wear it.
But what is your evidence? Don't say the medical cite your sources.
The people of CDC, Dr. Fauci, Dr. Burke, who are the people who are responsible for in the administration. Okay? And you have a president who says, no, I'm not wearing them.
I have seen, and I can bring the studies that they've said, there is no evidence. The German doctors, the Netherlands, the doctors in London, there's no evidence that this works. And there is evidence it doesn't work outside. Now, I'm not saying I could get those studies, and we could beat back with studies.
We can argue all day on them. The fact is that in this country, we're told to wear masks. It's a thing to do. Okay? It's not hard. Put the thing on. I wore it in here today. I'm going to wear it out.
I wear it.
I don't go anywhere unless I wear it.
But I'm not absolutely sure that this has that much efficacy. I think outside it doesn't. I think we're pretty well secure with each other here.
Yeah, we sit far enough apart.
Yeah. But I think in enclosed spaces, probably there is efficacy to the mask. But I don't know. I don't know. And I have seen things that say, that seem pretty credible, that say it doesn't work, and it certainly doesn't work outside. I just don't know, Dick.
Well, my point is that from what I hear, and all I can go by is what Birx and Fauci and others have said, okay? I watch the news, and they have these doctors on, and they all say, wear a mask.
And they would be the only ones that get on, because they're not, otherwise you have to search them out, because the news is managed. You and I know the news
one
is
of the
managed.
things but one of the things that's now happened, and we've now seen it, very, very blatant. These kids going back to school had these big parties, and 40, 50 of them come down with COVID. And they've now had to send them all home. North Carolina brought them all in, sent them all home. Notre Dame is now shut down. They're going to be, because they had parties, and half of the kids that went to the parties got got COVID. All I can tell you is what there is. And they've changed their mind and they backed out.
No, Harvard hasn't.
Harvard what?
Harvard hasn't.
But they're not having they're having
People coming.
yeah, but they're also having online classes.
They are having people living at the school.
Yeah, well, some schools are.
Yeah.
I understand
And
that.
Harvard hasn't had these big outbreaks.
Well, because they haven't, obviously the kids. I've seen the pictures of them partying.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
Oh, wait a minute. Were those the pictures of the kids partying? Do you know those were the kids of the pictures? Were the kids partying who got sick? Do you know that?
No. All I saw was the
You saw
picture
pictures of kids partying.
of 200 kids
we're just
drinking and
upset.
partying, no masks.
We're just
and
upset
then,
we weren't invited.
And it was, no, I'm not upset. It was at UNC, and then 4 days later, they all, 14 or 15 of them come down with COVID-19. The school shuts down and sends them home.
14
That's
or
all I
15
know.
out of how many?
Well, the problem is, it's out of how many? Probably 150, 200. The point I'm making is those people are going to infect other people. So they had to be quarantined. They had to be, you know. Your point was, you don't know whether it's really true. Well, at some point you gotta believe what you hear, and I believe that if you wear the mask, it makes sense. By the way, it's also a law.
George Bernard Shaw was the one who looked at these type of things. He said, we're really stupid as people. You know why we're really stupid as people? Because we believe the earth is round. And we, as individuals, we have no reason to believe. This was, of course, before space travel and everything. We have no reason to believe the earth is round. We believe it because we're told it. We take argument from authority. But we think we're smart. Why do you believe the earth is round?
Why do I believe it?
Yes.
Because I've read books that says it is.
But you...
I've heard nobody say it's flat.
But you do not have a reason to believe it.
Have I flown around the world? No.
Okay.
So I can't tell you
So
that. Now, I've seen pictures of the globe, and I have to believe that that's what it is.
I would say, since space travel has happened, yeah, we can probably say that's safe, unless we were bamboozled, but we probably weren't. But he basically said, we take arguments.
Now, I had lunch with George Bernard Shaw over in Ireland, in Dublin, in 1890.
Yes,
And, and I've told you what he said to me. Progress is only made by change. And if you can't change your mind, then you can't change anything.
But George Bernard Shaw said about that earth is flat is we take argument from authority. We don't investigate it ourselves. And other people have said...
Well, yeah, that's a great statement because it's true.
Yeah.
How many things do we believe because we were told it?
Yeah. So when we investigate something, we sometimes...
But have you ever wondered?
I wonder a lot.
I wonder a lot. I mean,
I wonder a lot, too.
I've sat down and said, did that really happen? Because it's in the Bible. How do we know that really happened?
Argument from authority.
How do we really know? St. Paul said it. You ever met St. Paul?
Well, I told you about that.
I know all about St. Paul. And by the way, the Corinthians did write back.
Finally, he got it, folks. Finally.
But anyway, the point I'm making is that the bottom line is, it's amazing the things that we just believe because we were told it.
Yeah.
And I've sat at times. I've gone to an event, and somebody gets up and speaks, and I say to myself, I wonder if that's real. How does he know that? And I've done it. And I've done it because, to your point about the earth, can I prove that it's round? Yeah, I probably can now because we got pictures of it.
Well, but on your own reasoning.
No, I can't
And
prove it.
they'll tell you, well, you see the ship go down on the horizon?
Yeah.
Well, one of the Frog Cape beaches, I saw a good-sized boat. It may have been a big trawler, but it could have been a freighter. And I watched it go out and watched it go out. I didn't see it go over the horizon. I just saw it disappear because it got too small for me to see.
That's right.
And so I couldn't verify it. That would have, I would have kind of verified it then. I couldn't.
No.
Now, the world has actually believed, most of the world, forever, that the world was round. Ancient Greek, Aristophanes, the mathematician, proved it by two wells certain distance apart and the angles of the sun. I couldn't do that. I'm not smart enough. But most of the world believed it was round. And for
When I bought the house in Charlton that we have, there was a sundial that the owner had. And I cleaned it up and I painted it. And I have it out in front of my house. And it's pretty accurate. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
You can watch the sun. And you look at your watch, you know. And it's not perfect because it's just a shadow, obviously, with the little thing. But the point is, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
And so you say, wow, you know, maybe we didn't need watches. We could have put one of those on our arms. And, you know.
What do you do on a cloudy day?
Yeah, that's the problem. You'd have to get a flashlight or something, you know, and fake it. I don't know who, you know. What do I know? You know,
So-
my father used to say that. What do I know?
What do I know?
I'm just a priest in a small parish.
Yeah.
What do I know? You know, that's what he'd say.
That's why we're just humble guys.
But you know, the thing is that it was a great conversation, and the fact that we can have the conversation is good.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, the fact that we don't always agree is even better.
Of course.
And the funny part is that it makes people think. And I was where was I? I was at some store the other day, and I had this lady come up to me and she says, I know you. I said, oh, really? She says, I watch you on television. She says, I like your programs. She says, they make me think. I said, great. I said, gee, I accomplished something today.
Accomplish the mission.
That's right. That and she mentioned the show I do with Michael, and she said, you know, I don't know anything about the market, and I don't know anything about, but she says, I love that program because he outlines everything, explains the different numbers and how they got there, and what to look forward to, you know. And she says, so I really look forward to that program, and in fact, we're going to do it a week from tomorrow, the one for August. But and by the way, speaking of that, the market's getting back up there again, you know.
The Fed is juicing it.
Of course they are. They put in billions.
Yeah.
You know, they're putting it up.
I heard something that Warren Buffett, it is, what is his company, Berkshire Hathaway, and Apple, they issue bonds. And the Fed buys the bonds, and then they take, I don't know if this is true, they take the money, buy their stock back, and it juices their stock. So, I mean, we're paying for, you know, ultimately.
Look at the gang in the Senate that got a tip and sold all their stock, and the next day, whoop, through the roof, and they take the money and run.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
and they should be. There are laws on insider
Oh.
trading, and how do they get away with this?
because they're a senator,
There you go.
and they're not going to touch them.
Nope.
Nope. And the thing that people don't understand, the one thing I know because I've been there and seen it with my own eyes, that they get up like Schiff and Nunes, yelling at each other, blasting, calling, blame, screaming it back and forth, and they have lunch together, and people don't understand it. It's all a game.
Yeah.
It's a game. And the thing that was really amazing is the Senate, controlled by the Republicans. It's true. It wasn't a hoax, as Mr. Trump said it was, that the Russians interfered in our election.
That's not true.
Oh, read it. It's out today.
I will get you proof that that's not true.
Well, you got to get me proof because
I will get you
they came out with the report today. The Republican Senate reported out that it was real, that Manafort had contacts, that they went back and forth
Manafort had a contact
with Russian agents.
What does that prove?
They went. I'm telling you what the report. All I
What
can
does
tell you,
it prove?
it proves to me that it wasn't a hoax because that's what they said
So,
when they issued the report.
show
And they
me-
also said,
show me proof
and they
that
also
anybody
said,
changed their vote
and they
because
also
of
said that
that.
Mueller was right. Okay, Now there's the.
Whoa.
It's in the news
You
today.
saw about Kleinsmith, the guy who got the FISA warrants by changing by what?
I'm just telling you. Read it.
You read what I tell you.
I know. Now listen, we got to go. Folks, thanks very much for watching. That's another
Thank you
conversation.
very much.
Wait till next month.
Wait till next month.